Good morning. How are you? I'm here in Maine, in Acadia National Park in Maine. And I came out as quick as I could. There was a fog. And my goal is to just take one shot of this Bar Harbor lighthouse. But I brought two lenses with me. I brought the 12mm Rokinon, which is a manual focus lens. Wow, look at these stairs. Oh my God. I also brought the 16mm 1.4. And, you know, oh wow, look at that fog. You know, it's funny, in our last video we talked about FOMO, fear of missing out and bringing too much stuff. I should be here with just one lens, but I wanted to see what the Rokinon could do versus the 16mm. Because if I'm ever in a situation again like this to do landscape photography, I think the Rokinon could take care of itself. It's manual focus, you don't need autofocus. The 16's a little bigger, a little heavier. So I thought the Rokinon might be the answer. Now, there was a fog, and the fog is sort of lifting a little bit. We'll see what we can get. It's pretty foggy out here, but you know, Lightroom has a dehaze button. Well, I feel like I'm on Mars. Look at this. How cool is that? There's the fog up there. So it's kind of fun to be trying to get a single shot, like just trying to get one shot. There's something to be said about that. And the lighthouse is up there, but it is, by the way, this is a very iconic calendar shot that everyone has. So I want it for myself. There it is. Okay. Luckily it's low tide, and my hope is that the fog lifts up a little bit, and also that I don't kill myself. If there's a Loch Ness monster out there, please don't eat me. All right, there's the little lighthouse. All right, so my settings are pretty much f8 or f11 to try to get everything in focus. There's a little cool foreground element, so I'm trying to include that with the lighthouse back there, so a vertical going this way. And yeah, let's try that. And then, you know, it's wide angle, so the lighthouse looks too far, and then I'm going to try to move closer after that. Cool, cool. I got my Sony vest shooting Fujifilm. This video is not sponsored by Sony. So actually I'm enjoying the Rokinon a little bit more than the 16mm 1.4. For landscape and for this kind of shot, I like the dramatic look of a lot wider. So I'm liking the Rokinon's composition a little bit more. From the viewfinder though, it seems that the 16mm might be sharper, crispier. But that gives you an equivalent field of view of like 24mm, where this one gives you like a 16mm, 15mm equivalent, and that gives you a lot of foreground. By the way, another reason to get these, you know, the larger cameras is this great flip screen this way for vertical shots. Super awesome to compose your shot like this. like a Bob Ross painting over here. It's still too foggy, so I'm kind of waiting for some of it to blow away or blow through, because if not, that dehaze button, yo, is gonna be super used. So 16 or the Rokinon, well, I like the composition from the Rokinon. For quality, I'll have to check later. I don't know which is sharper and clearer if you're gonna be printing a larger print. But I think from my experience, the Rokinon is sharp enough, and it's a lot lighter, and it's not weather sealed is the problem. But you know, right now there's just a mist, but maybe if you're a landscape photographer that is in the rain all the time, you probably want to go with something a little bit more weather sealed. But let's see what we get later. And you know, it's just nice to be out here. A junky day of photography is really just a beautiful day out anyway, right? Thank you, Bob Ross. Thank you. Oh, the other thing is don't crouch down too long because you won't be able to get up again. Help. Fog rolling in, guys. Look at that. Also, another suggestion, don't forget to look behind you. Sometimes, you know, there are sharks. No. Sometimes there's stuff to shoot behind you that you don't realize that the light is doing something cool to either the rocks or something else. You know, there's this little pine tree that's kind of screwing with my composition. You either include it, but then there's too much white sky, or you kind of pretend it's a bush and you get rid of it. Which works a little better, but it's a little awkward. So sometimes the trees do not cooperate. A couple other suggestions: be careful when you change your lenses in these kind of misty conditions. Change it fast, change it near your body. In a perfect situation, you shouldn't be changing your lens, but what are you gonna do? Also, there's something great about just trying to get one photograph, because I'm trying different compositions. There's this little house that's in front of the lighthouse there. So I've been including it in most of them without thinking about it, but all of a sudden I was like, you know what? Let me just try to get the lighthouse by itself. And so it's nice to work with one shot instead of walking around and taking a bunch of pictures. You know, make it a point sometimes to sit down and work a scene for a while. It really is like, you know, it gets your creative juices going and gets you motivated to make one photograph. Yes, I've taken maybe 40 frames, 50 frames already, but I'm looking for one. But that, you know, we're painting here. Bob Ross is today's theme, people. Bob Ross. I'm okay. Don't forget to come back to your original starting location. That's what I'm doing now. The light changes in the 15 minutes that you're here. So it's great to come back to see if your original scene or your original composition has changed light-wise. Bob Ross, baby. Bob Ross.